This is Jonathan Aggie of Fifth Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Eddie Hearn here in Birmingham. Galal Yafai defending his interim world title. One more before Taraji. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing else to do after this. You know, this is his mandatory challenger, and I think this is a fantastic fight. Rodriguez Jr. I know that sometimes people just look at it and say, well, you know, it's another Mexican that's coming over. No, it's a former unified world champion. I thought he beat Ioka. Great fight with Taraji. Went 10 with Nakatani. Seriously tough young man that's very motivated. I think it's a very dangerous fight, but if he comes through on Saturday, I think he'll be straight in for the world title.
You don't often see, Galal, trash talking or anything, but you seem to get him going when you said Sonny was on the slide.
And this is true, I think, is we didn't know at the time that Sonny wasn't 100% mentally and committed for that fight. What Galal's saying to me is, well, you say that now, but before the fight he was. But let's be honest, Sonny came to win, but I just don't think his heart was in it like it once was. That's all. This kid, different kettle of fish. This kid will run through walls to beat Galal Yafai. So I think this is a different kind of mindset in this fight. I think the styles will gel perfectly well. But the reality is, this is a tougher challenge than Sonny Edwards, in my opinion, on Saturday night. Knowing what we know now, not before the fight, I would have said that Sonny's a trickier fight. But knowing what we know now, and not taking anything away from Galal's performance, it was sensational. This will be a tougher test.
Giorgio Vizioli's making a name for himself overseas. I spoke to Kamelmo and he said, if you're so confident, then send him an offer and he'll fight him next.
We'll make that fight next. There's no way Morton's going to fight Giorgio Vizioli. They talk so much. You know, what you do is you fire in an offer, I don't know, like 10 times bigger than his biggest ever purse, and he'll be like, the offer's shit. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to fight Giorgio Vizioli. If you want to, we'll make the fight. But by the way, Morton's a good. I've seen the spar. I'm not going to go in sparring because sparring and all that, but I've seen the spar, and I'm telling you now, we'll take that fight in an instant. And it's a great fight. Let's do it. UK against America. We'll do it over 10 rounds for a championship. No problem.
What's your sleeper on the card on Saturday?
I mean, look, you've got people talking at the moment about, there's a big debate in it about, we've got to be exciting and we don't want Tom and Jerry style fights and all that kind of stuff. Fighters have styles, right? And I don't think you can necessarily change those styles. But what you have on Saturday is just all action, right? I mean, on the TV element of the card, Yafai against Rodriguez, all-out war. Peter McGrail against Baluta, it's going to be a fantastic fight. Conor Walker against Liam Taylor for the British and Commonwealth title. Just, I think, 12-round back and forth shellacking. And then you've got Pat Brown, who's just all action, one of the best prospects in the world. Look out for Tia Ayton. This girl has had, I think she had 300 combat sports fights, never been beaten. 21 fights as an amateur, I think 10 KOs, won the world under-19. She's a fantastic fighter. It's a great card. Really, really good night of boxing. I wouldn't say it was a sleeper on the card because it's British and Commonwealth title, but I do think Conor Walker, Liam Taylor will be filthy.
That's live on DAZN on Saturday. Eddie, Boots Ennis announced yesterday he's moving up to 54. Don't know if you've just seen Brian Norman's just had a knockout of the year contender.
He won it, yeah.
And he said, I wish I had a certain fight coming up, but they heard the B. Norman storm coming. And you know what happens when that storm comes? They grab their boots and run.
Yeah, so we made Brian Norman 2 off. I mean, I don't know what he made for that fight. 300 grand, 400 grand, whatever he made. We made Brian Norman an offer of 1.75 million previously. He said, Top Rank said, we need 2 million. So fuck me. Anyway, after the Stanionis fight, we went back to Top Rank and we said, we will give Brian Norman 2 million. We need to know because we're planning on whether we're going to stay at 147 or whether we're going to move up. Top Rank said, great, let me go to Brian Norman. They went to Brian Norman. Brian Norman said, this was about a month ago, by the way. Well, I'm not talking about any fights until I fight in Japan. It's like, no, we need to know what we're doing because we've got mandatories, we've got everything. They never wanted the fight. And he's had a stinker. Because now, where's these big fights coming from? For Brian Norman. So he lost the opportunity. He dropped the bag, as they say. But congratulations on a great win in Japan.
Who is the front runner to fight Ennis then?
I like the Bohachik fight. Thurman. Mendoza. I don't know. Like Saudis come to us when they knew we were moving to 54, and they said, "Do you want to fight Virgil Ortiz August 16th?" We said yes. They said, "We'll come back to you." They come back to, he's not ready August 16th, but we'll look at that for later in the year. No problem at all. So we'll fight around that date, and then he's ready. You've got to remember, what you've been seeing of Jaron Ennis was 60% of his physical capabilities, and look at the performance against Stanionis. Wait till you see him at 54. Monster. And he'll beat anyone.
Deontay Wilder returns next week. He said he'll fight Joshua next. Can we see that fight finally? It feels like now or never if he gets a knockout.
Why not? I mean, October, November, December, we're ready for that fight. It's still always going to be a massive fight. He's got a fairly straightforward assignment, I believe, Deontay Wilder. Hopefully he can get the win.
Your former mate or still mates, I don't know, Carl Froch came out and criticised you for comparing his loss to Ward to Dubois, described it as pathetic, and he said it's just completely different. Any thoughts on that?
I haven't seen much of it. I think Carl said he had a very close fight with Andre Ward. Okay, I was there. Carl is a legend, will always be a legend. Disappointed by his comments, but it is what it is. Look, he's got his YouTube channel now, and you've got to hit numbers. Best way to hit numbers, talk about me, and definitely talk about Anthony Joshua.
Now one thing you will take exception to, but I've got to ask you anyway, he said that Joshua has not had a Hall of Fame worthy career because he hasn't fought Fury or Wilder. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, like, Hall of Fame career is not about fighting people, it's about beating them. Carl Froch is in the Hall of Fame. I know that's maybe slightly controversial to some people. You know, I think that Jermaine Taylor was a great win. Pascal was an underrated win. Boutte was a good win, but he never beat Andre Ward, who was the man at the time. Never fought Joe Calzaghe. So it's the same kind of thing. You know, sometimes you can't fight everybody, but when you look at consistently who AJ has fought, you know, Vladimir Klitschko, Dillian White, I've said it a million times, Joseph Parker, Alexander Povetkin, Andy Ruiz, Kubrat Pulev, Usyk twice, probably coming up to Fury. I think AJ's got a great chat at Hall of Fame. But does it matter? I mean, why has everything got to be just compared to Carl Froch? We're just doing our own thing. AJ's his own person. What Carl achieved is incredible. I don't know the big argument about he weren't as good as me, and I'm a Hall of Famer and he's not. Don't worry about it, mate. You're a great fighter. But this is two different fighters. This is two different divisions. This is two different eras. Carl Froch will never have done what AJ has done for British boxing. But maybe AJ won't have the wins that Carl Froch had. Who cares? Just be happy. Just enjoy your life and your achievements. You should be very proud of them. So, you know, I'm sure I'll see him on Saturday. He keeps saying about coming on the podcast. Where is he? He don't come to the press conferences. We're going to do 10, 15 minutes today. I'll happily do it with him. But, you know, Carl...
You're going to confront him on Saturday or not?
Confront him? I mean, I just say... I'll tell him straight. I don't like what you're saying. But, you know, Carl's Carl. You're never going to, you know... He's the most stubborn man on the planet. That's why he was such an incredible fighter.
Just a few quick updates and I'm done. Dave Allen's here today. Who's the favourite to fight him?
We're in negotiations for some big fights with Dave Allen. Very big fights.
Who?
I'm not telling you because I don't want to jinx it, but also there may be the opportunity to fight TKV for the British title, which I would love. The next step for Dave's going to be really important, and he's in a great place. I mean, he's such a character, training hard, and you know, looking forward to what's next.
Johnny Fisher, I've seen he's back training. Any news with him?
Yeah, he'll be back. I think he'll box twice this year. Just step down a level, just get the confidence back, get back in the ring, a couple of good wins, and then back to big fights.
Now, last one, and I appreciate it's none of your business or concern, but there was news, quite shocking news this week about Stefy Bull being convicted of conspiracy to supply cocaine. Were you shocked by it? I'm sure you were.
Yeah, I haven't really seen the reports on it, to be honest with you. I mean, you're right what you said, not my business, not my news, and I'm sure a process will be adhered to and we'll crack on with our own business.
Just one follow-up, is there anything you feel that boxing can do to, you know, have the people follow ethical standards? You know, you've often talked about like a body or anything like that.
No, I think life is life. You know, I mean, I think every industry, every business, has issues to overcome, and that's always going to be the way.
Okay, Eddie, final word on Saturday. Why should people tune in?
You want action? You got action. This Saturday live on DAZN.
Appreciate it.